Okay, so we have to do the same thing. We have to draw this in a different level. And first, if you look at it in level 1, we have to draw this so we can do the facing OD rough and OD finish. So this is going to be the drawing. We have to do it. Uh, so looking at toolpath, so our first toolpath, which is going to be your face, then we're going to have a roughing, and then we're going to have a finish toolpath. So if you're going to run that toolpath, that's how your face, and then this is going to be your rough, and there comes your finish toolpath. So that's what we have to do. To do this first three toolpaths, we have to create this geometry, the one you see right here, guys. And this geometry is based on this blueprint right here. So now if you look at this blueprint here, our diameter, largest diameter, which is going to be this guy right here, this diameter here is 5.5 right there. Then we have another diameter, which is going to be this flower thing. That diameter is right here, which is 4 inches. And then the third step, which is going to be this diameter right here, this diameter, if you look at here, this is right here, 2 inches. So we have to draw 5.5 diameter, 2 inches diameter, and 4 inches diameter, then 2 inches diameter, which is right here. That's what you see. This is your 5.5 diameter. This one here is going to be your 4 inches diameter. This one here is your 2 inches diameter. And the Z depth for 5 inches goes all the way back here, which is going to be Z 3.5 right there. And for 2 inches, this 2 inches diameter right here, if you look at the Z from here to here, that Z for 2 inches diameter is Z 1 inch. And for this guy, where this starts, is going to be 1 inch plus 0.5. This is going to be Z minus 1.5. So these are your steps for that. And if I'm going to run this here, if you're going to verify this part here, so this is going to be that toolpath is going to something like this. It's going to face it. Now it's going to OD rough it. And there is your finish. So if you look at this drawing here, this is what it is. This is your 2 inches diameter right here, 4 inches diameter, and 5.5 diameter. And this Z is minus 1 inch. This Z over here is 1.5. And this Z is over here is going to be your 3.5. So, and that's what you see over here. This is what we have to draw. Just for your OD. And then comes your Then comes your this drawing right here, which is your this drawing right here. That is going to be in your construction plane right, like we did on the last project. And that you can do at Z0, or you can do at different Z depth, like the way you see over here. This circle right here, you can do at Z0, or you can go, give me, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to pause your recording here for a second. Okay, so this drawing has to be drawn on a different level, like I mentioned last time. And now then comes your C-axis stuff, which is going to be this drawing right here. And this is right here. You're going to start with your construction plane right. That's where you're going to create this drawing. And this is going to be based on this blueprint right here. And if you look at the depth here for individual of these levels is right there. So this is going to be at Z0. Then this is going to be ½ an inch thick. And then this flower goes all the way to Z minus 1 inch. And then this goes Z minus 3.5. So I'll go ahead and work on that. But let me show you the tool path here. Then I'll draw the drawing after. So here, if you're looking at the tool path, we have a C-axis face contour. So that face contour toolpath is going to be on this face. So this, hold the shift key. If you look at this geometry right here, this geometries are same. So we don't need this geometry right here, guys. We can have just this geometry at that Z depth. We don't need this geometry. So I can just go ahead and we can just go ahead and delete this geometry right there. We don't need that. We don't need this either. The circle, you can delete that also. And we don't need this circle either, because this has been already taken care of in our top view. If you remember that, these are the steps right here. But again, if you want to keep that drawing, it's totally up to you. You can do that, but you don't have to. Yes, we need this here, construction plane right. We definitely need this arc right here, because this is the arc where we're going to do our, that's going to be C-axis contour toolpath right there. That's your C-axis contour toolpath. So to create that arc, we have to draw these 3 points. If you look at those 3 points at 3 different levels right here, and that you see this, there's a point 1 right here. Give me 1 second. There's a point right here, and there's a point right here. There's a point right here. So all these points are 3 different levels. The first point is, if you look from the right side plane, is right here. The first point is right here. The second point is right here. The third point is right here if you look at the right side view. But these points are right here. So we have to draw these points at different Z. This one is going to be at Z0. The second point is going to be Z at ½ an inch. No, the second point is going to be, this is ½ an inch. The third point is ½ an inch. The second point Z is 250 right here, Z minus. So you have to create those 3 points, and with 3 points, you're going to create that arc, which is your this arc right here, the one you see right there. That's your this arc. So you can draw that, and this is going to be our face contour. If you look at here, the fourth toolpath, C-axis face contour, this is your face contour, which is going to cut this part right there. So here on face contour, we are doing multiple toolpath. If I'll show you the parameters, Z-axis face contour, we are using 1/2 inch flat end mill. And cut parameters here, I'm doing depth of cut. We are going 250 each time. And we are doing multiple passes. We are doing 2 rough pass, and we are doing 1 finish pass. The spacing is 150,000, and we leave 5,000 for your finish pass right here. And in the linking parameters, we are, the depth is going to be incremental 0 because we use this geometry here. So your depth is going to be 0, and that is going to be your geometry. If you look at here under your geometry is right here. So when you select that geometry at a full depth, guys, in that case your depth is going to be 0, because in incremental your depth is going to be 0 because we already selected that geometry at that depth. Regenerate that. That is going to be a toolpath. So so that's going to be your C-axis face contour, and then comes your Z-axis cross contour, which is going to be this guy right here. That's 4 slots right here. Look at that. That's your cross contour. Here, we are using 1/4 inch end mill. I think it's 1/4 inch or 1/8, and it's going to cut this other side right there. This is not right. Let's see. That's your face contour. And we are doing multiple passes, different Z depth here. If you look at here, guys, we are doing 2 different depth passes. And this is your cross contour, which is this guy right there. And this here is going to be your C-axis contour. And this is going to cut with a 0.625 end mill. And it's going to slowly cut that contour right there. Look at that right there, this one. And then comes your face drill. And that's going to drill these 4 holes. And then this comes your cross drill right here, which is going to drill these holes on the top. And there's your parting tool. Okay, so Z-axis face contour, 1/2 inch end mill, Z-axis cross contour. We are using 1/4 inch flat end mill. And the geometry for this cross contour is going to be these 4 chains, guys, right here. These are 4 chains we have. And when we do that, we just select that geometry, which is going to be Z-axis cross contour. And that toolpath is right here, Z-axis cross contour right there. Z-axis cross contour. And when you select that cross contour, you're going to select the single. You will be selecting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hit OK. Hit OK. And your tool is going to be your 1/16th, 1/16th flat. And your cut parameter, make sure you turn it off because you are using 1/16th. I'm sorry, we are not using 1/16th tool. We are using 1/8. We have 1/8, no, half inch, 3/8. We have quarter inch. Are we using quarter inch? Yes, we are using quarter inch flat end mill. So when we're using quarter inch flat end mill, it has to come right on the center. So make sure your cutter compensation is off because you're cutting right with the center of the tool. So this has to be off. And under linking parameters, your depth has to be incremental, has to be 0. Because we have selected those entity right here. So the depth is going to be the line right here, the one we selected. So your depth is going to be in incremental has to be 0. So that is going to be your tool. If you look at that tool path, is going to go like this. It's going to come back here. It's going to cut that. It's going to retract and go to the other one. Do this, go to the other one, do that. Go to the last one, it's going to do that. So that is going to be a C-axis cross contour. We're not going to keep this. I'm going to just go ahead and delete that tool path. We don't need it. After C-axis cross contour with a quarter inch end mill, we have C-axis contour, which is going to be your 1/16th end mill. That is going to cut this arc right there, this guy right there. I'll show you how we're going to draw that. Give me 1 second. So that is going to be tool path C-axis contour. It's going to cut on your C-axis. Look at that, on that arc. There you go. It's right there. And same thing on this one here. We are cutting right on the arc. Make sure your cut parameters, again, your compensation is going to be turned off. It's going to be turned off. Under linking parameters, you can go 50,000 deep because here we are cutting right on the arc. So incrementally, you cannot put a 0. It's not going to cut. So make sure you put 50,000 your Z minus on this arc when you're going to select that arc right here on the C-axis contour. And we are now under axis control, rotary axis control, your axis substitution on this one here is going to be rotary diameter 2 inches because we are creating that arc on 2 inches diameter. So make sure for that tool path, you go axis substitution and the rotary diameter is 2 inches and you're going to select this unroll. So rotary diameter is 2 inches, rotary diameter 2 inches, guys. This is this geometry right here. That's your arc right here. The one you see, this arc right here, this arc, it is on the 2 inches diameter right here. So this is your 2 inches diameter. That's why when you do rotary, you have to tell that arc is on 2 inches diameter. And that's what we go into parameters under rotary axis control. Make sure you say axis substitution and you're going to counterclockwise. And the rotary diameter, you have to tell the diameter of the part, which is 2 inches over here. And you say you unroll it. So that is very important when you do C-axis. Even if you want to do on this big diameter right here, arc, so you have to tell this is the size of the diameter. But here, our arc is on 2 inches diameter. If you look at your blueprint, your arc is this right here on 2 inches diameter. So you have to mention that. Okay, so that is your C-axis contour. Then comes your C-axis face drill. We did that also last week. So these holes 1, 2, 3, 4, these face drill. That's your Z-axis face drill. So that tool comes and goes straight into that and make sure it's going to retract enough. And it's going to go and drill the four holes on the Z-axis face drill. So look at this parameter right here. The tool we are using is going to be a 1/4" drill. And under cut parameters, we can use peg drill linking parameters. We are going from face, we are going 0.575 deep in incremental. That's my depth of the drill. Because those drills are 500,000 deep, half an inch. This is 4 by 250, half an inch deep hole. If you look at this blueprint right here, it says right here, 4 times 250 holes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are half an inch deep holes right there. And that's what you see over here. We added the compensate the tip of the tool also, which is 75,000. That's why this depth is 575 in incremental. So that is your face drill. There we go. See, it's going 575 deep from here to here. Okay. And then comes your Z-axis cross drill. This tool path is right here. Z-axis cross drill. Anytime you want to drill on the diameter, it's going to be a Z-axis cross drill. So we're going to pick up these 4 holes, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So once you're going to select that in incremental, we can put the depth on that. So if you look at the parameters and you look at the geometry right here for those 4 entities, 4 holes, you're going to pick hole number 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 4 points. And use the highest Z depth on that. And once you do this, come on. Z-axis cross drill using half an inch spot drill. You can use half an inch drill also. And in the parameters, look at the depth. We are going 750 deep here. You don't have to go 750. Let's see how much is that. That's half an inch deep. If you look at the blueprint, these depths are right here. These holes right here, 1, 2, 3. These are half an inch deep hole. So we can go half an inch. We don't have to go 750 here. So we can change this to minus 0.5 deep in incremental because we have selected that. Regenerate. There we go. So that is going to drill this hole 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those 4 holes. That is your cross drill. So your cross drill, anything you do in the diameter is going to be your cross drill. And the last tool is going to be your lathe cutoff tool. It's going to be the last tool. So if you're going to just select all the operations and you run it, you're going to face it, OD rough, OD finish. Let's verify with the different colors. There comes face contour. Multiple passes. So even on the Z, we are cutting two passes, two depth. There comes my another proof. And here we go. All right. So now this comes, it's going to cut your cross contour right here. Quarter-inch end mill, and make sure your cutter comp is off. It's going to do 1, 2, and 3, and there we are. Look at this. So you're going to pick these lines for your contour. 4 lines. That's why we have drawn these 4 lines right here. And there comes your C-axis. This is what we are talking about, 2 inches diameter, and we're going to go about 50,000 deep. That's going to cut this slot right there. Look at that. That slot is right here. This guy right there. Okay, and here comes your drill on the face contour, those 4 drills. And the last one is going to be cross drill right there. 1 hole, 2 hole, and 3 holes. And now it's ready to cut off. Parting tool. There you go. That is your finished part. There is your finished part right there. So these are the operations you have to carry, those 9 operations: lathe face, rough finish, C-axis contour, cross contour, face contour. You're going to use 1/2 inch flat end mill. Cross contour, you're going to use 1/4 inch flat end mill on the 4 slots right here. When you do cross contour, guys, number 5 I'm talking about, when you do cross contour, these are the 4 chains right here if you look at it. So you do cross contour, you're going to go C-axis cross contour right here. You're going to pick the chain, pick single. So you're going to pick this chain right here, 1 right in the center, 2, 3, and number 4. So these are going to be your chain. So select those chain. No, I don't want to keep that. And then comes your C-axis contour with a 1/16 end mill, which is going to be this guy right here. There we go. And this is the one I was talking about, that make sure you go to parameters here under axis control. You're going to go to rotary axis control, axis substitution. You're going to put rotary diameter 2 inches for that. And you're going to say, I want to unroll it. Unroll means you're going to unwrap it. It's going to figure out that how deep it has to go into 2 inches diameter, because your arc is on a 2 inches diameter. And then comes your C-axis face tool. This guy, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here again, we are going 575 deep on those holes. And then your C-axis cross drill is going to be these holes right here. Okay, let's go ahead. So this is the tool paths right here. This is what you guys have to do. Let's talk about how you guys are going to draw this geometry. So I'm going to just go ahead. In the meantime, guys, you have any questions? I'm going to pause the Okay, so this is the steps you guys have to do just to create that geometry. And again, this is based on this dimensions right here. This is pretty simple. 3.5, that's Z depth. And then this diameter is 5.5, the bigger diameter, and then 4 inches. This guy right here is 4 inches diameter, and this is your 2 inches. So that's what you see right here. That's what you see right here. So this is going to go under one level, and then comes your this part right here. That's going to go under your construction plane right. We'll just go ahead and delete all these. Okay. All right. Now, I can start with this big circle here first, but if you look at the circle from, this is my Z0 right there. From Z0, that circle is back over here, which is Z 1 inch plus 50, Z minus 1.5 in construction plane right. So I'll go to level 2. I'm going to turn this off. I'll go to level 2 here. And that geometry is going to go on level 2. I'm going to turn level 1 off. And I go to construction plane right. And my function is going to be key. We are in construction plane right. Okay, good. So now construction plane right, I'm going to go change my Z to minus 1.5. That's where I'm going to have that big circle, which is diameter 5.5. Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to go to circle with that center point. And there comes my circle. And this diameter is 5.5. I hit OK. I'm going to change this now to a color green. And I'll make my wireframe color also green. So this diameter is right here, 5.5 diameter. That's what we created. And let's create this slot also, these slots. And if you look, the detail of these slots are right here. So this is 2.75 diameter, the one we created. And this is 2.625 diameter right there. And these are 0.250, okay. So here is this slot right there. This is 2.75, this is 2.625 radius. So let's create a 2.625 also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with a line, endpoints, freeform line from this center to here. And that line is going to be my 45 degree. Now I'm going to create an arc polar from there. And let's say I'm going to go start from here to here. And that radius is going to be 2.625, I guess. This is 2.625. There we go. 2.625. So radius 2.625. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and offset this entity on this side and the other side, if you look at that, that offset distance is total slot is 250. So I'm going to offset 125 and 125 over here. This is 250 total. So I'm going to offset here 0.125, this on this side, hit OK, and then this on this side, and I can move that one. I can just move that one, hit OK. And that will give you my slot. So I'm going to just go ahead and divide and clean this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. Neither this nor that. And I don't need this either. So now I can go ahead and, how many slots I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can go ahead and rotate those. So go to Act Transform, rotate the window, this slot, just these, hit OK. And I want to rotate those. Angle is going to be 360 divided by 4, 90, and I need 3 of these. There you go. Hit OK. Escape, hit escape key, right click, clear colors. So they're right here. So what I have done, I have just drawn this here at z minus 1.5. Now, what is going to be my distance from here to here? This is 1.5, this is 3.5. So 1.5 minus 3.5 minus 1.5. So that distance is going to be 2 inches. So what I can do, I can just still in the construction plane, right? I can go transform, translate, window this whole thing, and hit OK. You're going to translate z minus 2 inches right there. Okay, before we do that, make sure we go ahead, divide, clear this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. And now I can rotate that and transform, translate that and transform. So go and pick this window, hit end selection. You're going to go z minus 2 inches. Make sure you say join, and that will join that. And well, right click, clear colors. So this is what I was telling you to create the tool path here, guys, cross contour. We have go to 3D. I changed to 3D. We're going to go ahead and wireframe. We're going to change, we're going to create a line. So create a line from midpoint of this line to midpoint of this line right there. Look at that. So that's going to be my geometry for that tool. And do the same thing on this one too. And we can just go ahead and rotate that one line if you want to, but it's okay. From there to there in 3D, we can draw that line. From the center point of this to there. Center point of this to there. And hit OK. So you need this line. This is going to be your geometry to create a slot for your cross contour. Okay. Now, at the same z minus, we can create your this flower geometry right here, this guy right there, the cross. We can have that thickness. So if you look at here, this is at z, the thickness is 1/2 inch. It starts at z minus 1 and 1 point, another 1/2 inch, 1.5. So we can go z minus 1.5 and create that at z minus 1.5. So let's let's draw this. This is diameter 4 inches. This is diameter 4 inches. And then we have to draw these lines right here and the fillets. And those lines are 35-degree lines from that point. So let's draw this circle here first. That is your 2 inches circle. And that circle is, how deep is that circle? Is 1 inch. So go to construction plane right. We're going to create a circle at Z0. We can do at Z minus 1 inch also. So stay at Z minus 1 inch. That is my circle. And that is going to be radius 1 inch. There. Now here, we're going to draw that line 35-degree and 35-degree, those two lines from that point right there. So create a line from that point. Oh my goodness, we can type that point right here. Start point is going to be X is going to be 1 inches, comma 0. That's where my arc starts. And I'm going to go this way right here. And this angle, if you look at here, that angle is 35-degree. So we can say that angle is 35-degree. Okay. And we can go from same here, another line here. And that angle is going to be minus 35-degree. There you go. So we have drawn this two lines right here from this. And here comes my 4 inches arc. So I can go create arc polar from that center point. I can go ahead and do this arc right there. And this is going to be 2 inches. And if you look at that, that is my arc right there. We can cut a fillet. And we can make a fillet here. The radiuses are, what's the radius of those fillets? 375 typical radiuses. 375 typical radiuses, okay. Okay, I'm going to make this arc a little bigger so we can draw a line here from this to this. That angle is 45-degree. And we're going to draw another line here so we can rotate that. Minus 45-degree. Let's see at the drawings. So here. So we're going to got this here. And we can rotate that. Got this 45, 45. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Now we're going to create that arc radius 4 inches, arc polar. With that center point, I'm going to start from there to here and go up to here. Okay. That radius is 2. Okay, so now I'm going to put the fillets over here. We're going to put this fillet here 375, this fillet here 375, this fillet here 375. So go to fillets, radius 0.375, which is this guy here, this guy. Ooh, 3D. No, we're gonna need a 2D. Oh, look at this. What we are doing here. We forgot to put this back on 2D. So our geometry is at different point. Well, not good. Look at these lines are here, guys. We forgot to put that on 2D. I could see it. So let's go and undo that. Undo this, undo that, that, and this is okay. Yeah. So this has to be on 2D, guys. Okay. So we are on 2D now and z minus 1.5. So we are good. And line point, go line here, 45 degrees. And go from here down there, minus 45. There we are. Now we're going to create arc polar from that center point, starting from there to here. And that radius is 2 inches. There you go. Our drawing is good. Go back to right plane. Okay, fillets. Fillet entity, radius 375 is going to be this, 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 that. Undo it, undo it, undo it. We need this. So we're going to break this, break into 2 pieces. Let's break this guy over here. Perfect. Now we can go and make a fillet. Fillet entities, radius 375. There's a fillet right there, and there's a fillet right there. All right, so we got this geometry right here, and we're going to trim that and rotate it. So let's go to divide command, get rid of this, get rid of that. And we can translate and rotate. Transform, rotate, hold the shift key, pick that guy, and there's your rotation angle. 90 degrees, we want 3 of those. Perfect. Right click, clear colors. So if you look at the drawing, I created that drawing. This Z has to be, this is not good, guys. That was done in 3D, that was the problem. So anyway, so if I'm going to look at isometric, I have drawn that flower at Z minus 1.5. So when we're going to create a toolpath for that, now if you look at blueprint, if you want to do it just to look at better, look at this thickness of this flower thing is 1/2 inch. So I can translate that 1/2 inch. I can just go ahead and go to transform, and I can translate, hold the shift key. I can translate this Z positive point is 1/2 inch. 0.5. There we go. Look at that. You can join that, and you can do that also. I will not join it because if I'm going to join that, then I'm going to have a problem because I'll be selecting this geometry for my face contour. And hit OK, right click, clear colors. So this is going to be that. And now we don't need this. We don't need this 2 inches circle. You want to do it, that's fine, you can draw it. But before we do that, I want to draw this arc right here. This arc is based on your 3 points, guys. This arc is based on 3 points. And those 3 points, if you look right view, there's a 1 point right here. There's a 1 point right here. There's another point right here. Those are the 3 points. And if you look into this view right here, there's that same point over here is one here. So that point is going to be on construction plane right. The first point, this guy is going to be at x 1 inch, y0, and z0. The second point is going to be over here. That point is going to be x0, y1 inch. Z is going to be, look at that, z is minus 250 over here. That is z minus 250. The third point right here is going to be x minus 1 inch, y0, and z minus for this point, your z minus is 0.5. So we have to create those 3 points. And then with 3 points, we can create this arc right here. If you look at this arc right here, that is created with those 3 points right here. So let's create those 3 points first. So go to construction plane right. I'm going to create wireframe point position. Let's change this to color red. So point position, first point is over here. So what is going to be that point position? If you look at that, this point right here, x is some 2 inches diameter. So x is 1, y0, z0. So I'm going to type here x1, comma, y0, comma, z0, hit enter. That is your point right here. Okay, that's the first point. The second point is over here. So that again, go to x0, comma, y1, comma, z is minus 0.250. That point is right here. Z is minus 0.250. Look at this, guys. Hit OK. That z minus 250, you can see over here, that is distance I was talking about. It's 250 from the face for this point. For third point, is half an inch from the face. So for third point, we can go and say right click. This is going to be right here point. So we're going to go auto cursor. X is minus 1, comma, y is 0, comma, z is minus 0.5. That point is right here. Look at that. So we got those 3 points right here. The reason why we got this point is because we have to create this arc with the 3 points. So now if you go ahead and say circle arc 3 points right here, look at that. You got to be in 3D and call arc 3 points. You're going to pick point number 1, number 2, and your number 3. That will give you that arc. That's the reason why we have to have those 3 points to create that arc from 3 points. If you look from the top view, these are the points. So the first one was at z0, second was at z minus 250, the third was at z minus half an inch construction plane right. Hit OK. So this is the arc you needed. And the circle we have, we're going to go to your green color again, and z at z0. If you wanted, we can draw that. We can draw the circle right here, 2 inches diameter now, and radius 1 inch. That is right there. And that goes up to 1 inch. If you want to push this back to 1 inch, you can do that also. We don't need this for toolpath, but just to look at your geometry, we can translate that this guy here minus this is 1 inch, z minus 1 inch. It goes back right there on that. But do we need this geometry, and this geometry for toolpath? No. We took care of this. If you look from the top view, your geometry is like this. Go from top view. We don't need these lines. We can go ahead and delete that. Delete them. Air colors. So this geometry right here is already, we have that over here, level 1. If you look at here, guys, this is what we have created. Look at that. If you remember that, this is initially, we have created this geometry right here to rough and face that part, OD rough and finish. So when we're going to start it, we're going to start with level 1. We're going to do this guy right here. We're going to create that first. This is going to be my OD rough and finish. We're going to face it, OD rough and finish, and then comes your level 2 right here. That's where we're going to do our Z-axis toolpath. So here under level, I can turn this on, I can turn this off. Now the last thing is going to be your holes, these holes right here. And these holes are on your diameter 5.5. These holes are on this diameter. To do that, we're going to go to construction plane top, and we can have one hole right here. And if you look from the front view, from the right view, there's where my hole is going to be at this diameter. So this diameter is 5.5. So your radius is going to be 2.75. So distance from here to here is 2.75. So we're going to go here, from here to here is 2.75. So if you go to the top view, if you go to the top view, you're going to go Z positive 2.75. Z positive 2.75. Look at that. Z is right here. If you look at that, that Z is 2.75 right here. And this hole is, look at that hole right there, this hole, which is the same hole. So that is from the face is 2.5. So when we're going to draw that, we're going to draw that at x minus 2.5, y is going to be 0. So we're going to draw this over here. But our z, look at that, our z has to be 2.75. That's where my z is at, 2.75. So go to top view, create wireframe, a circle center point, and where is going to be the center point of the circle? Circle center point. Auto cursor. X, how much is my X? My X is 2.5. If you look at here, that's the center point of that. X is minus 2.5. So we're going to type here X from here to here is minus 2.5, comma, Y is 0. That's the center of that circle. And what is the size of the hole? These hole size, that 1/2 inch deep and 1/2 inch, 4 times 1/2 inch diameter. So my radius is going to be 0.250. So that's the hole we got it right here on the diameter. Now I can rotate that. How we can rotate that? Go to construction plane right. Make sure you're in construction plane right. I'll go to 2D just in case. I'm going to go to transform. I'm going to rotate this guy, end of the selection, rotation angle is already 90 degrees, and we want 3 of those. So we got 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. We got those holes. Right click, clear colors. So that finishes your geometry, guys. That finishes your geometry. I'm going to just say file, save as. I'll save that. Shared master cam. We can save under mill. This is going to be your project. Project 10. So that is your drawing. This is how you have to draw it. I'm going to go ahead and file open the other one. The one we had earlier is this guy right there. Look at that. It's the same file with the toolpath we talked earlier. Look at this. This is something you guys have to do it. And our level 1, you start with this. That's where OD face it, OD rough, and finish. The first toolpath are going to be using this geometry right here. Face it. We skip face. Pick that, that, and that. Face, OD rough, OD finish. And there we are. So then start your C-axis, face contour, cross contour, axis contour, face drill, cross drill, and cut off. So now I can go to level. I can turn that guy off and turn this on. And there comes my next toolpath, starts my next toolpath, which is going to be lathe C-axis face contour. It's going to cut this guy. There you go. We are doing multiple passes over here, Z-dab. So now, like I said, that over here, do we need this geometry? If you hold the shift key down, click that, do we need this geometry? No, I can delete them. Do we need this geometry, the circle? No, I can delete them. Do we need this guy over here? No, we don't need that. We don't need those geometries. We need this arc to do your C-axis contour right here, this guy, which is going to be a 1/16 end mill, and that will cut that slot. We need that point just to create an arc. Otherwise, we don't need those points. You can put a point at a different level. You can hide them if you want to. We created those 3 points at 3 different Z's, Z0, Z250, Z minus half an inch. We created that just to create a arc with the 3 points. Otherwise, you are unable to create that arc without those points. So we created 3 points just to create that arc. And then you have fixed drill, C-axis contour, C-axis cross drill. So if I'm going to select all of them, and you go ahead and verify this, there is your finished part. It's going to cut a little bit over here because your tool starts from here and it's going to go like this. Over here, cut this slot. This guy. And make sure you turn the cutter comp off because you're cutting right on the center of that slot. On this one, and same thing on this guy right here. When you're going to select this geometry, you turn the cutter comp off. So it's going to cut right on the center of the cutter, this slot. There we go. So that finishes your part. I'm going to just go ahead and pause the recording in the meantime.